Now at 5 and streaming on CrossroadsToday.com, the chief public defender in the Crossroads area faces serious charges but remains on the job. Why his pretrial date is still unknown and what's next in this unfolding case. Plus, a local volunteer fire department seeks more money for new equipment, how much they're looking for in funding. And Texas prepares to be host for the nation's largest migrant detention facility. Find out where and how much the project will cost.
Well, as we promised you, some tropical air is rolling through our area. We're getting shower activity right about now, and it's going to be getting heavier later tonight. Now, here we are, and here's a big line of thunderstorms coming down I-59. So it'll be here probably within the 2-hour range, and we're looking for stormy weather again for tomorrow. We'll have all that coming up in a moment.
And extreme weather hits the state again, this time in Amarillo. You're watching 25 News Now at 5. Good afternoon, and thank you for being with us. I'm Trenton Whiting, filling in for Shauna Curry today. The pretrial date for a local public defender has yet to be set. Brian Watson, chief public defender for the Crossroads area, was arrested Thursday, April 4th, 2024, on charges of misuse of official information. His salary, $160,000 a year. The Oversight Board of the Crossroads Regional Public Defender's Office unanimously voted for Watson to begin his role as Chief Public Defender on May 6, 2024, despite the impending indictment. Watson's attorney, Brian Garris, confirmed Thursday that Watson's case has not been given a pretrial date because they have raised a pretrial matter that, quote, is of concern to all Texans, and it is currently in the Texas 13th District Court of Appeals. And that'll lead us to our viewer poll for this evening. We ask you, can a defendant get due process if their public defender is also indicted? Two options, yes or no, and about 82% of our voters say no, a defendant can't get due process if their public defender is indicted. Obviously, some implications there here in the Crossroads, but we definitely still want to hear from you, so come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part, and we'll have the latest results of this viewer poll at 6. Now, West Hall Volunteer Fire Department is looking to upgrade their equipment to better serve their area. 25 News Now reporter Ray Mosley spoke with the fire chief. Ray, what did he tell you with your conversation?
Yes, Trenton, West Hall Volunteer Fire Department is looking for an increase of $140,000 from DeWitt County. West Hall Volunteer Fire Chief Andrew Winkles says the increase would give him the opportunity to have better radios and a better response time for their residents. The Volunteer Fire Department raises money by either donations or fundraisers. Winkles says if he had better radios, he'll be able to communicate with any of the surrounding counties.
Having less stress allows us to respond better and faster, and it takes the burden off of supporting our communities.
Winkles also says that increase will be used for maintenance and insurance for the trucks they already have. We reached out to the DeWitt County judge, and we're waiting to hear back. Trenton.
Thank you, Ray. And we've been experiencing some extreme weather right here in the Lone Star State. Parts of Amarillo are underwater this morning after strong overnight storms. This area of Interstate 27 was almost completely submerged due to flash flooding. Interstate 40 has also been impacted. It's estimated the slow-moving storms dumped as much as 8 inches of rain per hour. The National Weather Service says flash flooding stranded multiple vehicles. Thankfully, no injuries have been reported. Now, that extreme weather is hitting many other parts of the country, with water rescues today in Kansas City to the heat wave moving through the Northeast. ABC's Jacqueline Lee has the story from Los Angeles.
Tonight, rain inundates the Midwest.
Oh!
Kansas City commuters driving into floodwaters, quickly forced to back up.
See, what happens is they go too fast, they hit that water, it creates the waves, and then the waves get in the exhaust, and then they stall.
The fire department reporting at least 10 emergency water rescues. In New Mexico, another round of flash flooding. You can see a home washed away along the Rio Ruidoso River from monsoon rains. Catastrophic mudslides triggered by a burn scar left from a wildfire last year. This is now the third week in a row this small mountain town hit hard by flooding. Dozens of homes destroyed, and at least 3 people, including 2 children, died.
Oh no!
In Chicago, severe storms after summer heat collided with a cold front. Heavy rain and up to 60-mile-an-hour winds, forcing a ground stop at the O'Hare Airport. And in the Northeast, a heat wave rolling through.
So it does feel already like 100 degrees from Lancaster to Doylestown to Reading. It feels like 102 for Philadelphia.
In New Jersey, emergency medical personnel standing by to help, warning everyone, especially the elderly, to stay hydrated.
Best case scenario is they're sweaty, but they're able to talk to us. They may be a little dizzy. They got some cramps. Worst case scenario is what they called altered mental status, where they're confused. That's a more extreme heat stroke type of scenario as opposed to heat exhaustion.
Nearly 10,000 people have died from heat in the last 5 years. Many experts saying official numbers may be a gross undercount. Jacqueline Lee, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Obviously, a lot of extreme weather going on around the country and especially here in Texas. But let's check in with meteorologist Maclovio Perez, who will give us a first look at that forecast and maybe a hint at some of that extreme weather going on.
Absolutely. We, of course, now are looking at the shower activity to start getting a little bit heavier. Now, here is Victoria right now. Whatever we've had so far has been fairly gentle, but the heavier thunderstorms, you can see this line right about here going through Wharton and coming down 59. That will be rolling into Victoria this evening, probably in less than 2 hours. So look for increasing thunderstorms. The thunderstorms will be with us for the next maybe 4 or 5 hours. Then they'll settle down overnight. Then tomorrow we're looking for a very volatile atmosphere. The heat index will actually be going down a little bit because of the cloud cover and the rain that we expect tomorrow. However, will this activity last through the entire weekend? We'll have all those details coming up in just a moment. Trenton, back to you.
Thank you, Mac. The federal government is moving forward with plans to build the nation's largest immigration detention facility at Fort Bliss. A $231 million contract has been awarded to set up a deportation hub for single adults with space for up to 5,000 people. The full project could cost $1.2 billion, according to Bloomberg News. The facility is expected to be finished by September 2027 and will sit on the grounds of Fort Bliss, one of the Army's largest training bases. The contract went to Acquisition Logistics, a Virginia-based company. The Trump administration first announced plans for this facility earlier this year. As Texas legislature's special session ends its first week, members of the Texas House Democratic Caucus left Texas this morning. 15 Texas Democrats left for California and Illinois. They plan to meet with governors and state leaders. The move signals a new phase in the fight against Governor Abbott's agenda, as Democrats continue to refuse to legitimize a special session they say is full of, quote, partisan distractions, when it should be focused exclusively on flooding and disaster relief. Democrats particularly are against any plans for redistricting. President Donald Trump is heading to Scotland to visit his golf resort in Turnberry. He left Friday morning aboard Air Force One and plans to hold several meetings on the trip, including with the UK and Scottish Prime Ministers, as well as the head of the European Union. That meeting comes as trade talks between the EU and US intensify. Scottish police are expected to deploy thousands of officers, with protests planned in 3 cities on Saturday. Groups involved include trade unions, climate campaigners, and Palestinian and Ukrainian advocacy groups. Trump will also visit his resort near Aberdeen to open a new 18-hole course named after his Scottish-born mother. A well-known animated TV series is receiving a fiery response from the White House. Comedy Central's South Park is the brainchild of creators Trey Parker and Matt Stone. The season premiere of the show Wednesday night included a scene with President Donald Trump lying in bed with Satan. Needless to say, the depiction was not flattering of the president. On Thursday, a White House spokesperson issued a statement saying South Park hasn't been relevant for more than 20 years. It went on to say the, quote, fourth-rate show is hanging on by a thread by uninspired ideas in an attempt for attention. The show's parent company, Paramount, has not issued a response. Now, a group of young dancers from Victoria just wrapped up a magical performance week at the happiest place on earth. 23 company dancers from Ledwig Dance Academy performed 7 high-energy routines this afternoon in Orlando after months of rehearsing. They performed those routines in front of a live audience, and along with their performance, the dancers took part in a private workshop led by a Disney dance professional. For some, it marked their first time performing at Disney, and for others, it was a return to the stage they first experienced 2 years ago. A big congratulations to these young dancers for representing Victoria with style and spirit on a world-class stage. Now remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. Now stay with us straight ahead on 25 News Now at 5. It's long been added to drinking water for your health. Now, a growing number of officials want fluoride out, but not everyone agrees. And fewer shots, fewer staff, fewer services. Why some say the nation's vaccine system is quietly being dismantled.
Here's a look at what you can expect on Community Crossroads. We hear from Our Lady of Sorrows, we hear from a competitive shooter, and we hear from our friends at Victoria College.
We are doing a back-to-school resource fair where we'll have about 350 backpacks to give away.
Wow.
Now these are geared more towards middle school and high school kids, but we will have so much more other fun things for the littles.
Now let's take a look behind the menu at local food establishment inspection reports. Inspectors found issues at 2 Victoria eateries. Gogi Korean BBQ and Sushi had 31 demerits, and La Hacienda had 24 demerits. 7 eateries in Victoria received a perfect score. Those include Dairy Treat, Don Lupilicious Tacos, Dos Hermanos Cantina, Knights of Columbus Hall, Lucky's Kitchen, and more. Rocky's Snow and Snacks, and Tacos 2 Compadres. A Health and Human Services Secretary, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., has pledged to make America healthy again. That includes a campaign against fluoride. 2 states, Utah and Florida, have banned adding fluoride in public drinking water. Now the FDA is gearing up to ban prescription fluoride supplements. Lee Waldman is live in New York City, and what experts are saying about the removal of fluoride.
New York City's top doctor says she'll continue advocating for the addition of fluoride to the drinking water, telling people while it's always good to question science, you should trust in the studies that show fluoride is safe. Often referred to as the champagne of drinking water, New York City's water is carefully monitored by the Department of Environmental Protection.
Our job is to make sure that we are adding the precise amount of fluoride within a very narrow band. Too little and it doesn't do its job, too much and it could be harmful.
The city's acting commissioner of health says the addition of fluoride is important for the health of New Yorkers and opposes its removal.
I'd be concerned about kids who live in families where getting into preventative care is very challenging. And there are tremendous barriers to care, unfortunately, in New York City.
The CDC's recommended fluoride concentration is 0.7 milligrams per liter of water, about equal to 3 drops of water in a 55-gallon barrel. Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is advising to remove it altogether. HHS and the EPA are reviewing a report from the National Toxicology Program linking high levels of fluoride, more than double the recommended amount, to lower IQ in children. But there was insufficient data to determine the impact of lower levels. Dr. Vicky Evangelita Sakelson with Columbia University's Dental College agrees with many in her field that fluoride in water is safe and effective. She thinks politicians should leave science to the experts.
It is a complex problem, and they should give money and funding to do the studies. So when we talk based on data, and we don't talk based on feelings.
Lawmakers in states like Ohio and South Carolina have also proposed restrictions on fluoridated water. Additionally, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration appears to be ready to move forward with a plan to ban prescription fluoride supplements. In New York, I'm Lee Waldman.
Millions in federal funding for state and local vaccination programs have been cut. That's according to a review of Health and Human Services financial agreements. Officials say the reductions could mean fewer staff, fewer services, and lower vaccination rates. Some states, including Arizona, California, Indiana, and New York, received less money this year than they did back in 2019 before the pandemic. The Trump administration says it's committed to trimming budgets, and an HHS spokesperson confirms the agency is working to cut costs. The public health advocates see a bigger trend, what they call an effort to dismantle the nation's vaccination infrastructure.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. You can see right here on the cloud cover, it's getting darker to the northeast. This is the stormy weather that's going to be rolling into Victoria within the next 2 hours. We're looking at 86 degrees right now, obviously influenced by the cloud cover and the rain. That was our high. Well, that's 10 degrees below our average and almost 20 below yesterday. We'll talk more about the shower activity for tonight and tomorrow coming up after this. Well, good afternoon, everyone. We're looking up the river, or up the stream rather, and you can see there's Edna, and we've got some stormy weather already beginning to roll down. It is going to be getting heavier over the next couple of hours down here in Victoria, and it looks like the crossroads is changed completely from yesterday. We had that brutal sunshine all day long, and now the cloud deck, the tropical moisture is all rolling in. This could have been a depression or a tropical system, but it was too close to land. Nonetheless, it's still sort of spiraling in this fashion like a tropical storm, so we're getting the shower activity and the moisture coming in from the northeast. Now, one of the reasons why we're getting it now is because the dome that was on top of us, remember that? That finally moved to the east. They're getting the big heat wave, and so that is allowing all that stuff to roll down under that ridge of high pressure. Here is, of course, I-10 right about there, and you can see as we zoom in that we've got a line of storms right about here. So from Hallettsville down to almost Edna and down to Bay City. So Edna, you're going to be getting stormy weather within 30 minutes to an hour or less, and then that should be down in our area about 6:30 to 7 o'clock tonight. This stormy weather will roll through our area tonight, take a break in the early morning hours, but then repop tomorrow afternoon. So because of the cloud cover, we have a lower heat index expected for tomorrow. By Sunday, we're back to the heat and the humidity, and next week, well, it looks hot again because it is July. That's just the way it works out for us. Now, here's Future Tracker. So we start at what? 5 o'clock, all right? So where are we? There we are. There's the storms upstream. We go forward, you see how it rolls over us, and so we're looking for the showers to roll in within the couple of hours. It'll be stormy for a while tonight, and then after maybe 10 or 11 o'clock, most of the activity will simmer down because a lot of this is driven by heating. Then tomorrow morning, being Saturday, we're going to pop a few in the morning hours, and in the afternoon, you're going to see a bloom of thunder showers as the sea breeze kicks in, the heating kicks in, and we see that activity. And then again on Sunday morning, we get a little bit of a break, but then you'll see more showers pop up again. Now we take a look at the tropics because while there's nothing close by, there's too much Saharan dust. One little area here looks interesting, but does not have much of a chance because of the dust that's in the vicinity. However, way out here in the middle of the Atlantic off the coast of Africa, we've got a potential development, and the computer models are beginning to spin this up. That's probably 7 days from now. That's okay. We've got time to watch it, but shall we say next week we'll be looking at that to see where it goes. So tomorrow, cloud cover, a little break in the morning, and then in the afternoon we'll see another round of showers. In Cuero, you're looking for a high of about 86 degrees because of the cloud cover and the rain. Look for showers during the afternoon hours especially. Here's the forecast for the 7 days. We have an alert day because some of the storms may be dropping isolated pockets of heavier rain. Fewer showers expected on Sunday. Monday we'll be back to the sunny, hot and humid, and then we're looking hot and humid back to the upper 90s, almost near 100 for early next week. That's your 7-day forecast. Reminding everybody we do have a QR code. Love for you to scan that. Put Crossroads Today on your phone. Now we'll toss it back to Trenton.
Thank you, Maclovio. Well, coming up on 25 News Now at 5, President Trump accuses the Fed of overspending, while the central bank chair pushed back, and what's really at stake. Stocks ended Friday with gains. The Dow closed up 208 points. The S&P 500 gained 25 points, and the Nasdaq rose 50 points. Those increases were enough for both the S&P 500 and Nasdaq to close with record highs. Oil is down $1.02 to $65.02 per barrel. The Trump administration tariffs on imported cars and auto parts are taking a toll on Volkswagen. Europe's largest car maker says it lost $1.5 billion during the first half of this year. VW's operating profit for the quarter that ended last month fell off nearly 30% compared to a year earlier. The decline was steeper than most analysts had expected, according to FactSet. General Motors is also dealing with major effects from tariffs. It lost more than $1 billion in the second quarter and projects a $4 to $5 billion loss by the end of this year. Two-way trade between the U.S. and Mexico totaled $840 billion last year, making Mexico America's largest trading partner. A vast majority of trade between the two countries has been exempt from tariffs for months, but that could change on Monday. To read this full Texas Tribune article, visit crossroadstoday.com. The long-simmering clash between President Donald Trump and Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell was on full public display during a tour this week of the renovation site at the central bank's headquarters. While Trump continued to criticize Powell, he reiterated that he has no plans to fire him. And privately, Powell has been adamant that he will serve out his full term. Washington correspondent Julia Benbrook reports.
During a tour of the Fed's ongoing renovation project, President Donald Trump claimed that the work cost $3.1 billion. That's about $600 million more than its stated price tag, leading to an uncomfortable exchange where Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell fact-checked Trump in real time.
The 2.7 is now 3.1.
I'm not aware of that.
Yeah, it just came out.
Yeah, I haven't heard that from anybody at the Fed.
Yeah, it just came out.
Our notes had it about 3.1 as well.
3.1.
3.2. This came from us?
Yes. I don't know who does that.
Now, you're including the Martin renovation. You just added
our entire capital.
Yeah, you just added in a third building is what that is. That's a third building.
Well, no,
the
but
Martin building.
it's a building that's being built.
No, it was built 5 years ago. We finished Martin 5 years ago.
This project, which is costing more than originally expected, has become a big focus point for the president, even saying at one point that it could be a fireable offense, as he criticizes Powell for other things. It's important to note that typically presidents have avoided taking any steps that might appear to interfere in the central bank's independence. But Trump has been ramping up pressure on Powell when it comes to a politically sensitive issue, lowering interest rates, as Powell has been keeping interest rates steady. Powell has told multiple allies and associates that there's no chance he will bow to the president's calls for him to resign, arguing that stepping down would undermine the institution's long-standing freedom from political interference. At the White House, I'm Julia Benbrook.
Now, the Fed is widely expected to hold rates steady when they meet next week. Powell is just one out of 12 people at the Fed who vote on policy moves. Now, some people will need to run to the store before watering the lawn or setting up a slip and slide. Roughly 3.6 million Hydrotech 5/8-inch expandable burst-proof hoses have been recalled, despite being called burst-proof. Winston Products says there have been more than 200 incidents where these hoses did in fact burst. More than 24 related injuries were reported, including a pair of sprains and a bone bruise. The hoses were sold nationally at various retailers, including Ace Hardware, Home Depot, and Target from 2021 through April of this year. Now, don't miss episode 14 of Let's Grow Texas Ag. Catch it on KXTS tonight at 10. Now, coming up, another record shattered off the court. How a rare Caitlin Clark trading card just made sports history.
Night, extreme heat pushing into the Northeast, temperatures feeling like triple digits. Plus, President Trump pressed about a possible pardon for Ghislaine Maxwell. How he responded. World News Tonight with David Muir is the most watched newscast in America.
A Caitlin Clark trading card has once again set a record price for a women's sports card. This one-of-a-kind autographed Panini WNBA Rookie Royalty Flawless card sold at auction for $660,000. That nearly doubles another Clark card that sold for $366,000 in March. The latest card sold is a one-of-one. And in addition to her signature, the Indiana Fever star wrote a note reading 769 points and counting. It's a reference to Clark's scoring output in her 2024 season, which earned her Rookie of the Year honors. Clark is enduring a bumpier 2025 season. She's played in roughly half of the Fever's games so far, dealing with injuries. And, you know, I've become a W fan, and this new roster, these new players that are coming in, they're going to bring some money.
Well, they're very good. What concerns me is just getting a little too physical.
Yeah,
It's just like, hey, and that's not clean. Not clean basketball.
Got to get these refs on point.
That's right. They got to be involved too.
Absolutely.
Anyway, folks, we're looking for stormy weather to roll in tonight. Within the next couple of hours, I've got some stormy weather here in the city, in Victoria and in Victoria County. This will continue through the evening and then decrease somewhere about 9 or 10 o'clock tonight. Tomorrow will start off okay, but we'll pop more showers in the afternoon hours. That's why I've got an advisory there, an alert for everybody to just be aware. It all depends on where you're standing as to how much rain you're going to get. Fewer showers expected on Sunday, and then next week, yikes, we're back to the heat and the humidity.
Absolutely. It's going to be hot, so obviously remember all your health safety rules. Try to stay indoors if you can. Drink plenty of water because it's scorching.
Stay fluid.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for being with us. Our next newscast is in 30 minutes after World News Now with David Muir. Have a great evening.